Hey guys, it's Baby Kendle here from Passers By, and welcome to a brand new Clash of Clans video where today we're going to be talking about 8 troops that are different now than when they were first released. And I'm only going to be covering the troops that you may not already know about. I'm not going to be talking about these random little buffs or nerfs or anything like that. I'm talking about significant changes to troops that are totally different now than they were when they were first released. So let's get right into it here, but before I do, make sure to subscribe to this channel if you have not already for more Clash of Clans content. Anyways, let's get right into number 1 here, which is going to be about the Hog Rider. So there's actually 2 things about the Hog Rider that I'd like to talk about. First, if you did not know this, Hog Riders, when they were first released, used to attack any building at all, meaning they did not have a preferred target. Now they have a preferred target of defenses first, so they'll attack defenses when they're moving into a base. But when they were first released, you could just drop them and they attack any building out there. So they attack army camps, the laboratory, the town hall, barracks, all this stuff. The trash buildings, Hog Riders would attack those as a preferred target. And this obviously made Hog Riders sort of useless. I mean, a lot of the times they would just walk around the outside of the base, not even utilizing their ability to jump over walls. And eventually Supercell changed that so that Hog Riders have preferred target of defenses. Second thing I wanted to talk about for the Hog Rider is that they used to actually be 6 housing space, which is pretty interesting. It's hard to imagine how things would be now if Hog Riders were even just that 1 extra troop space. It does make a huge difference when you're bringing lots of Hog Riders in an attack. So it's interesting to see how things would turn out today, but Supercell eventually reduced that 6 housing space to the now 5 housing space. Alright, number 2 on this list is the Goblins. They used to be actually unlocked before the Giants. Now, for those of you that were playing this game for quite a while, you probably already know this, but when I started playing the game, it was in order of unlocking in the barracks. It would be Barbarians, then Archers, then Goblins, and then Giants after that. Then Supercell changed it, so now it's Barbarians, Archers, first the Giants, and then the Goblins after that. So I'm not exactly sure why Supercell switched these 2 troops around, but I suspect it may be because Supercell wants lower level players to have access to the Giant, which is a really good tank, before they have access to, some resource troop, which probably lower level players don't even need that much. Number 3 on this list of troops that are different now is going to be about the Dragons. Now this one's super interesting. Dragons actually used to not do splash damage. They used to only attack 1 target at a time. So this may not have a huge difference on offense when you're using Dragons to attack a base, but when you're dealing with CC troops, whether it's the enemy CC troops, whether the enemy Dragon comes out and attacks your troops, they used to only attack 1 troop at a time. So if you're using Dragons and the enemy CC comes out with like 30 Archers, you're in a lot of trouble because the Dragons used to only be able to attack 1 Archer at a time. They did not have that splash damage capability, so it was just so annoying if the guy had so many Archers, so many Barbarians, whatever, that Dragons were so useless against those. So eventually Supercell did make it so that Dragons do splash damage, and now they can basically take out a whole group of Archers in just 1 fire breath, which is super awesome. Alright, let's move on to number 4. The P.E.K.K.A.s this time. So, interesting thing, P.E.K.K.A.s used to actually be affected by spring traps. Think about that for a second right there. A P.E.K.K.A., 25 troop space troop, being sprung off the map by a little spring trap. Think about how a rip-offy that is. You have such a big unit coming through and just 1 flick and that thing's off the map. So eventually Supercell changed it so that P.E.K.K.A.s are not affected by spring traps. Otherwise, things would get ridiculous. If you had all 6 spring traps in one area, the guy drops all his P.E.K.K.A.s there, literally his whole army is done. So Supercell made it so that P.E.K.K.A.s are immune to them now. All right, let's move on to number 5, which is going to be about the wall breakers. So wall breakers used to be able to hit any wall. So actually this was a negative thing, because what people would do is that they'd have a base design, they have their wall around their defenses, whatever, but then they had extra walls just randomly scattered on the outside of the base. And what that would mean is that in the old wall breaker AI, when you dropped a wall breaker, it would head to one of those random walls, even though it's not even part of a segment, even though it's not really closing any compartment at all. Wall breakers would just head to the nearest wall, no matter what it was. If it was just a single wall standing there, all wall breakers would go for it. So it made wall breakers so useless that eventually Supercell had to change it so that wall breakers can target the actual compartments and have smarter AI, which makes them much more useful. All right, let's move on to number 6 on this list. We're going to be talking about the wizards, and similarly to the dragons, wizards actually used to not do splash damage, like I said about the dragons, so they'd only target one building or one troop at a time, which made it very frustrating. Once again, if a bunch of archers or barbarians come out of the enemy war CC, you're sort of in trouble because the wizard can only target one of those troops at a time. So basically a wizard just used to be a stronger archer, but now it's a stronger archer that also does splash damage, which makes it so much more effective. Let's move on to number 7 on this list. We're going to be talking about the balloons this time. So balloons, they actually used to not have that splash damage upon death. So, they just drop their bombs, and then when they get killed, nothing would happen. Nowadays, it's when they die, as they're dropping, they do a little bit of extra damage, which is a really neat thing because it just opens the door to so many possibilities. You can now just drop one balloon to take out a mortar, one balloon to take out a Tesla, when it used to have to require 2 balloons because there wasn't that death damage. Also, the death damage obviously helps for taking out enemy CC troops as the balloons are dropping. They're dropping on top of the archers or whatever is from the CC and doing quite a bit of damage to them. All right, let's move on to the very last thing on this list. This is something very recent. Probably you guys might already know this if you already played the game since the Town 11 update. Bowlers actually used to be 8 housing space instead of 6. That's what made them so useless when they first came out. They were just so, they took up so much army capacity space that no one used them. It was just a useless troop, and then eventually Supercell kept buffing them over and over again, I think like 2 or 3 times in a row, and they eventually reduced the housing space to 6, so then bowlers instantly became good. Everyone started using them. At Town 11, Town 10, they're so popular, even at Town 9 nowadays. Bowlers are definitely one of the first options that you look at when attacking a base. So yeah, obviously that buff on bowlers from 8 housing space to 6 housing space really helped a ton. So anyways, that is going to wrap it up for this video. Those were 8 troops that are different now from when they were first released. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoy these types of videos where I outline a number of things that are very interesting, and definitely like this video if you'd like to see more of this. Like I did say at the beginning of this video, make sure to subscribe to this channel if you have not already for the latest Clash of Clans news as well as Clash of Clans videos just like this one. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace out.